This is Dean Tsouvalas at NACAC for StudentAdvisor.com, and I am fortunate enough to have Kyle with us. Kyle is from the West Coast, from Newport Beach. And one of our questions that we have that students have been asking us is, how do I find out about scholarship opportunities and what should I do, what should I look for?
I'd say probably the best thing is most students go online and they find 9,800,000 results and they get frustrated. So the thing that we recommend is go to your local library, look at grab the Community Foundations book. These are your local foundations, organizations, civic organizations that have money and it's local. So you're taking away all of the competition of trying to go online and competing with everybody else, and it gives you actually the contact of the person that is going to award the money to you. So you can actually apply to them, call them, follow up and say, hey, I applied to this, and this person never gets a call because no one really applies to these localized scholarships. So take advantage of the stuff that's in your backyard, go to your local library and get the foundation directory or the Community Foundations book. Just ask the reference person and they'll take care of you.
So that's amazing that, we always hear about how much money is left on the table. Is this the place where, a lot of scholarships are left on the table?
Yeah, I think so, because scholarships are one of those things. They're kind of like the little ninjas. Everyone, they're out there somewhere, but one person gets in, they all talk about it, and they go, hey, there's a $19 million of, scholarships that went unawarded, or whatever the number is. And it's, yeah, sure, there's a lot, they're unawarded, but no one knows where to go to get them. And then secondarily, students just don't know how to actually materialize them if they do find them. So yeah, in the backyard, a lot of people have a lot of great hearts, but people that put money in these foundations to give out, a lot of times they don't have the marketing budget. They don't have the know-how, or even why spend the money when they're already trying to give away money to good students. So it's trying to navigate the process, figure out where these scholarships actually are, and the ones that are going to be most effective and fruitful for the students are mostly the ones that are in their backyard.
That makes total sense. Now, what would you say to a student who finds one? How should they apply?
Yeah, well, the best way to apply is when it's in your backyard, you're all of a sudden a friend. I mean, they really want to support, the communities around them, and because a lot of them are tied to businesses and community organizations. So, what they should do to apply is really they should look and align with, that foundation. Every foundation or every company kind of has a mission. We're wanting to support students that are going and they're going to change the world, or they have a heart for green, or what are they going to do when they get this degree, afterwards? How are they going to pay it forward? So look to that and speak to that, and really don't be afraid to, step outside the box, because everyone's like, well, I really want to go change the world because I love seals. Whatever, that's not a bad thing, but have some personality. Talk to them, have some flair and some personality and some emotions of like, I really either need this for X, and I'm not going to be able to go to school and to do these things without it. With your help here, I'm going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. So give them if I get this, here's what I'm going to do with it. And then I would say lastly, I'm going to give two more pieces. Be sincere and have like a humble gratitude. Thank you for the opportunity. They want to hear that. They really do. I would want to hear thank you if I gave someone $10,000. And then the last piece is follow up. This generation, I love them. I'm not too far removed for it, but we're just like, hey, let me text them or let me email them. It's like, no, this is not a big corporation. This is mostly one person that's administering this foundation. If you call them and go, hey, this is Kyle Shelley, I applied for this scholarship. I can't tell you how much that, truly, I appreciate this right now because my family's going through some things and my dad's business, X, Y, and Z. This would mean the world for me and my family just to help them as I go into college. So thank you. And they're like, sorry, sweetheart, who is this again? Yeah, this is Kyle Shelley. I just wanted to see if you got my application and just to say thank you. They're like, tell me more about yourself. And they're looking at my application. And I can't tell you how many students that we've given advice to and worked with this way that they go, I was on the phone with them. They literally awarded it to me on the phone. Because it's not a big corporation. It's one person that's really in charge of this account. And mostly he or she is making the decision on where that award's going. So have that personal contact at the end and follow up. You've already done the hard work.
And that makes sense because they probably have never had anyone reach out to them and show that interest. Right.
So they're like, application. I have 60 people that want my money, but no one's going to call and say, thank you. Did you receive my application? Thank you for reading it, and thank you for the opportunity. And that goes, we're very personal. We love that. And it's a lot easier to say no to a piece of paper than to say no to someone that you've actually now put a name to a voice to the paper.
How about for a non-traditional student? So somebody who's maybe a little older in their life and wants to go back to school, or a person who wants to re-career, how do they find the money? What do they do?
Yeah, those get to be a little bit more difficult because a lot of the scholarships that are out there, people do fund a lot of these foundations and give a lot of scholarships for, one, they have a good heart, And sometimes also it's a tax strategy for them, and that happens a lot of times, and that's okay because it's really what's the objective for the student is to be able to get it. It gets a little bit more difficult for the non-traditional students, but there's still a lot of money out there for them, especially if you're a single mom or if you're someone that's trying to go back and finish your degree. But when it comes to that type of stuff, I really do recommend that they either find a good organization that specializes in that type of thing, or really still go back to the library. Really go into those resources because those are the localized scholarships. The same thing, call them up. Hey, I'm not a traditional student, I'm a non-traditional student. Here's a little bit about my story. I know it says for 4-year traditional, but do you guys ever make an exception? What people don't know is they read it in print, they have to put something there. It doesn't mean that it's etched in stone. Just because the book's like, we need to know, is this traditional, non-traditional? When you make that connection, a lot of times you're like, you know what, it's supposed to be for 4 years, but we can make an exception here. It's their bank account. These scholarship, this foundation is really just a bank account that has some rules on it. So that's what I always suggest, and be able to reach out to people, seeing that their mission is X, and you're like, oh, they have a mission for this. I want to go back and get my degree, and I want to further this. All they care about is people that are going to be furthering that ultimate mission. So that's the same suggestion that I have for them.
Well, that is incredible advice. Good for you and good for everybody. So this is Dean signing off from StudentAdvisor.com here in Colorado, and look forward to talking with you all again.